to the Human Everywhere podcast. I am one of your hosts, Jason Batt, along with
UB Ciminieri. Hello, everybody.
And we are also joined today by our other co-host, part of the whole group of Deep Space Predictive. First up, we have.
Hi, everyone. My name is Alires, Almon, and I am the founder of Deep Space Predictive.
Hey, everyone. Mark Kettles, and I support everyone in administrative.
And so we are collectively Deep Space Predictive, and this podcast is an exploration of what is at the core of what we have been trying to do. What are we doing? Well, before we get to Alires explaining what Deep Space Predictive's mission is, I want to focus on the human everywhere. From the earliest age, I mean, probably cavemen, we've looked up, we've stared at the stars, and we've wondered what's out there. And now humanity actually is going out amongst the stars. We're sitting on the cusp of being able to do Mars missions and moon missions, and our brains are thinking of what it's going to be to actually have human space exploration. We are going to go where only the robots have gone before. But what is this about? We want to make sure we maintain the human in human space exploration. Alires, tell us a little bit more about the mission of Deep Space Predictive.
Sure, Jason. You know, when you talk about the human part of it, Deep Space Predictive is really about recognizing the role of the human and embracing all of our humanity, no matter where it takes us, the good, the bad, the mysterious, the light. It's all about understanding that the human is in the loop, and the human is part of the loop and a vital part of our human space exploration. Without the human in the loop, human space exploration would not exist. So at Deep Space Predictive, we recognize that, and we want to embrace and support every part of the human, especially the emotional part of the human, as we go deeper into space, where we become more and more alone and away from where our home is.
So going back to the title of this, we call this Human Everywhere. And I think it'd be really good to get everybody just kind of chiming in. And, you know, as every podcast is, you kind of hope that this morphs and evolves into a conversation. So not putting too much pressure on you, Mr. Ubi. What does Human Everywhere mean for you? What is your perspective? And specifically, coming from your background, your credentials, I mean, you've got an incredible amount of expertise in everything from recruitment to career development, all those things. I'm curious what your perspective is and how it extrapolates. So turn it over to you.
Oh boy, no pressure. Well, you know what I love about this is, you know, the fact that you know, these seem like grand scientific sci-fi concepts, right, that we're talking about here. These huge, you know, when we think about that, we think about Star Trek or Star Wars or aliens, and we think about what it takes and the feat it is to go to the moon and to Mars and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's to make that happen. From my perspective, it's going to take the right humans to make that happen. And what I mean by that is, initially, to pave the way, we have to put the right team of human beings together to be that first group that goes to Mars. And what's involved in that is everything from their ability to work as a team and collaborate and take care of each other, and, you know, their ability to do what they're assigned to do on the spaceship when they get to Mars. But even beyond that, it's like an alignment of passion, an alignment of mission. You know, are they all going there for the same reasons? Are they doing this for humanity? Are they all agreed that if this happens, you know, we're all going to do this together, or we're going to take care of each other, whatever it is. But at the end of the day, it's about the human beings who are on that ship, who are taking that first big leap. And we can't ignore the fact that we're humans in that scenario. Like, we are human beings, we're mysterious, and a lot of times we don't understand, we're not quite aware of why we behave a certain way, right? Or why we think a certain way. And so, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like for me, it's, do we have the right people going first to pave the way? And so that we can then make sure that whoever does want to go after that does so safely. I don't know. What do you think, Mark? I know you have an interesting perspective on this. We've
Sure.
gone down lots of rabbit hole discussions.
Well, it certainly depends on what your definition of safety is. I guess I would hope I come
Sure.
back as a human, and a happy human and one that functions, but also I want to go out and explore. So you want to keep that in mind and know that there is some risk involved, and technology can help with that, but we certainly have to think through what we're about to do. What do you think, Alires?
You know, it's interesting listening to everyone. One thing about this journey is we as humans take ourselves wherever we go. And wherever we go, we will experience it through what we perceive as our humanity. And Mark, like you said, you hope you come back whole and as a human. And you know, that's going to be different for every person. It's going to be different for every mission. It's going to be different for everyone's experience because they're leaving Earth with different experiences. And I really think that it's important that we honor our individualism when it comes to creating a new collective of what that experience is going to be for those individuals and how they transfer that experience or share that once they get back, because they are going to be different. People are going to be different. They're going to change. We don't know how they're going to change or what impact that's going to have on the people back on Earth, knowing that a piece of you, of our collective humanity, has gone somewhere and come back where no one has gone before. And I think that's going to be really exciting to see what happens. And it's going to be scary, but it's going to be exciting.
It makes me think down the road, there are possible topics that even come right out of this. Like I could have an entire, I think, episode where we just talk about the evolutionary nature of humanity, because there is almost a assumption in the way we're talking that, well, if you go, what we have right here, this static snapshot of humanity right now, that's human. And if we change, well, we've lost our humanity. But I would bet that there's someone probably that would argue that say, you know, the nature of humanity is the fact that we do adapt and evolve and change. And the question of where does that gap, where is that limitation? When do we cease? How much change until we cease being humans? Or does that ever happen? And again, probably the very fact that for me, we're sitting on the, you know, I don't know when this is going to air, but we're on the eve of the incredible readaptation of Frank Herbert's Dune that asked this very question, asked in a very, very profound way. And, you know, to me, I think that books alone, that movie is going to be asking the question, okay, what does it mean to be human everywhere? You know?
Yeah. Well, and that's what I love about the idea of this podcast is because so what we can leave with as humans is a common guide, a common way to address the unknown, right? Think like a standard operating procedure or just a guidebook. And that comes from a lot of different voices. You know, that can come from authors, that can come from movie makers, that can come from tribes, you know, across the world, that can come from ethicists and theologians and scientists. All of these things, the one thing that we can be certain of is that we can all have kind of this guidebook, right? This like, okay, here's how we're going to take care of each other. Even when we experience the craziest thing that nobody could have ever even thought of out there in the middle of nowhere space, we can still behave and act as a collective, to Alires' point, in a way that we've all agreed upon. and we take these steps. And I think that's what's I'm excited about is, that we get to talk to so many different kinds of people who can contribute to that guidebook, that ultimate guidebook for human everywhere. Here's our third co-host has just joined, Alires. Hello, kitty cat.
Betty, this is Betty. We got to know. We all definitely probably have our co-hosts that we should bring around.
That's right. We should.
Definitely. Well, it's so interesting. I'm really excited to hear and explore all these types of topics with our guests and the conversations that we have, because they're going to be coming from very different perspectives, not your typical straight science or straight science fiction. It's going to be everyone who has impact on humanity's journey.
Mm-hmm.
That journey, it could be here on Earth, it could be to the stars, but it's all about humanity's journey, because we are human everywhere.
That's a great mic drop.
Yep. And I think that might actually be the best way to end our nice little segment, because we're just at 15 minutes right now. I don't know how much we add to that, but I think that's the preview for all of the future episodes. So
Yeah.
hey, I will sign off. This is Jason Batt, and go down the line, guys.
This is UB. Thank you so much for joining us, and we look forward to bringing you more.
Thank you so much for including me, Mark Kettles.
And this is Alires. I can't wait to see where we get to go.
Thank you, everybody, for joining Deep Space Predictive and Human Everywhere for our nice little preview of this podcast. See you guys later.